You all ready for some meaningful football? At least one more week of meaningful football, thanks to the Cleveland Browns, who just recorded their 4th win of the season over the Pittsburgh Steelers, protecting their home field turf and giving the Ravens life for another week, at least another week, because what is now official coming up next weekend in 2026 is win and you are in. It's the Ravens, it's the Steelers. The winner of next weekend's regular season finale in Pittsburgh will play for a chance to not only win the AFC North title, but ultimately clinch a ticket and a postseason berth to the 25-26 NFL playoffs. And that is where we begin. We'll open up the guest lines. Want to get your thoughts on what just went final in Cleveland. I swear, Tommy Reece, offensive play caller for the Browns, played for the tie in what became Cleveland's final offensive possession, entrusted Jim Schwartz's defense and ultimately Myles Garrett and company. While it wasn't a historic day in terms of setting the single season sack record, that did not tell the full story of how impactful he was, his sheer presence alone, as the Steelers fall to the Browns in Cleveland in Week 17, which of course keeps everything alive for the Ravens for the time being. Remember, no DK Metcalf next week. I'm sure the Ravens will open up as favorites. We'll see what happens in terms of Lamar Jackson's status. We'll see what happens with TJ Watt and a number of other factors as we get ready for, again, meaningful football, exactly what the NFL wanted. That's what's coming up next weekend, 13-6 in a classic AFC North game that was ugly. If you liked low scoring, if you liked defense, if you liked penalties that at times were phantom, and really the ultimate nail-biting fourth quarter, you got all that and more. Time of possession was very leveled. Pittsburgh just edged out Cleveland in that category by just over a minute. Cleveland lost the turnover battle. So not only did they lose the time of possession by just over a minute, they lose the turnover battle, but they win the game. And you want to know why? Because it's championship caliber defense by Jim Schwartz and company. Again, Myles Garrett did not show up in the sack production standpoint, but he was there. And really, the Steelers did everything they possibly could to game plan around Myles, to avoid being on the wrong end of history today. And as a result, with some good solid football there in the first half from Shedeur Sanders. He was figured out in the second half, at a terrible interception, but that first half production from Shedeur, man, he was decisive, accurate, quick-witted, good decision maker. Ultimately, it's enough in an AFC North battle on a shitty weather day in Cleveland for the Browns to emerge victorious. And the chances were slim, weren't they? They were very slim going into this game for the Ravens. And ultimately, after getting it done last night on the ground, sticking to their identity, using King Henry, and then some, they ultimately walk into Week 18 where, hey, it's a clean slate. You win and you are in. You win and it's 3 consecutive AFC North titles. That would be a first. Obviously, you get a chance to play for the postseason. Perhaps you keep job securities afloat for the time being. You'd host a home playoff game, likely be the number 4 seed. I mean, there is a lot riding on next weekend. This game will be played in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin has just said that Darnell Washington, key playmaker and a big body presence for the Steelers offense, has a broken arm. So Darnell Washington has a broken arm and no DK Metcalf, who, again, his appeal to that 2-game suspension was upheld. So those are 2 key pieces to Pittsburgh's offense that will not be at Aaron Rodgers' disposal coming up on Saturday or Sunday. We'll wait and see when that game is ultimately played. But that's what's happening. Win and you are in. How's it feel out there? How's it feel? Kyle Hamilton will tell you how it feels. Perfect timing indeed. There is Kyle, courtesy of Ravens Productions. Look, Shedeur had a good solid first half. He did. This was a Cleveland offense that didn't even score in the second half. Matter of fact, Cleveland only scored in the fourth quarter, 3 points in the fourth quarter. I had to refresh my box score. So Cleveland wins a game in which it puts up 10 first quarter points and 3 fourth quarter points thanks to a field goal. And by the way, remember, Tommy Reece's decision to run the ball 3 consecutive times after turning Pittsburgh over on downs. I mean, are you playing for the win or are you playing for the tie? Ultimately, I get it. He looks smart because he's playing to entrust his defense. But you're not going to drop back and throw it once. I get it. It's a rookie quarterback. I get it. You have a championship caliber defense that had quite literally been the sole reason that you were in the game to date at that point in time. But my God, I'm sitting there thinking this is the way the Ravens are ultimately going to lose their postseason fate, lose their postseason chances. But hey, credit Tommy Reece for sticking to his guns. Credit Jim Schwartz, a Baltimore native, by the way, Mount St. Joseph product. Ultimately, they get it done. And as a result, the Ravens and Steelers will face off for it all coming up on Saturday or Sunday. That is in the TBD flex zone. I'm sure we'll learn in the next 24 hours, maybe less than that. So let's see what happens. Captain Hard gets our super chat started. We will open up the guest lines in just a second. If you want to call in and share a thought based on what we just watched unfold today in Cleveland that gives the Ravens new life for the moment, go ahead and click the link that I have included as a pinned comment in my live chat. Captain writes, the next game, jobs/playoffs. Ours going to come back and we'll go on a run. LOL. This game showed how bad our defense is. Steelers offense looked bad. I tell you what, this does buy Lamar time. I don't know if I can sit here and confidently tell you that if Lamar's nowhere near 100%, like I think we can all agree he's been playing nowhere near that number, should he rush back? That's not to say that is in no way disrespectful to Lamar. That is in every way acknowledging what it is that he's dealing with. And the player that I watched give a post-game interview, barely being able to speak and stand up straight just a week ago, is that player going to be ready 5, 6, 7 days from now to play football? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But I do remember what happened a year ago in the wild card round in Baltimore, where the Steelers had absolutely no answers. Zero answer for Derrick Henry and the Ravens rushing attack. And I also saw what the Ravens put on film last night. They are capable, and Derrick Henry, at soon to be 32 years old, is still capable of taking over games and possessing and ultimately accepting a very heavy dose of carries, workload, and the attrition that comes with it. So I'm gonna be very interested to see how this week shakes out in terms of Lamar's health, where he is with the back contusion, and ultimately what the Ravens choose between their two quarterbacks and who gives them the best chance to win. That has everything to do with Lamar's health. It's not a discussion in terms of who's the future. It's how healthy is Lamar right now. Suntan Superman MMA says, do you believe in miracles, Bobby? Somebody ask Al Michaels that, will you? Somebody ask him. Because right now, I'm sure there's a lot of you out there right now. Oh, you become believers? And maybe you were already believers to begin with. Let's open up the guest lines. I know Brother Goose is ready to roll. I'm going to slap a 60-second timer because the waiting room is cooking. And my question for you is this. Who do you want starting for the Ravens at quarterback coming up this weekend in a winner-take-all opportunity? And again, this is not a debate in terms of who's the future quarterback in Baltimore. I'm not acknowledging that. What I'm acknowledging, because to me that's not a debate, there's no question about that. It's acknowledging the state that Lamar was in 7 days ago tonight, the severity of the back contusion, and just how well Tyler Huntley has executed Todd Monken's offense, beating 2 playoff teams over the last couple months. Once against the Chicago Bears, and of course, we just watched what unfolded last night against the Green Bay Packers. Again, do not put words in my mouth when it comes to the quarterback debate. So, David Cure, you can go fuck off with your live chat right now because you, my friend, are going to put words in my mouth, and I'm not going to allow you to do that. This is a simple question. Who gives the Ravens the best chance to win given the state of where Lamar is physically right now and knowing that they could be playing 6 days from now, 7 days from now, depending on what night the NFL ultimately decides? One more super chat from Captain Hard. He says 2 weeks rest, hopefully. Steelers not going to let us run 36 times. Huntley can't push the ball down the field. They'll sell out so quickly. To the guest lines we go. Brother Goose, you know the question, brother. Get us started here. Happy holidays to you and yours. Glad to be with you tonight.
Man, happy holidays to you, Bobby. I'm glad to see you. It's been rough for me. I had a knee replacement surgery last Monday. This has been all bad. But last night made it so much better. And today made it even, oh, come on, man. Come on. This has been great. So to your question, my wife and I talked about this earlier today. And my wife kind of knows football, especially since she's been watching the Ravens. And her idea is Huntley needs to play, especially if Lamar is not 100%. Huntley has shown he can hold serve, man. He can hold serve, all right? He's made no real mistakes in the games that he's been winning for us. He's made no real mistakes. And if you really think about it, way back when we were playing the Bengals and he made that tragic mistake at the end of the game, if it hadn't been for that, we would have won that game with Huntley. Do you think that's going to happen again? Hell no.
He's a much better in that backfield there several years ago. There was a certain number 22 who wasn't part of the organization back then, right?
You know? Damn. Look, whoever said the Steelers aren't going to stop Derrick Henry, aren't going to let him go through. You know what? At this point, I don't think anybody has a choice or a say in what Derrick Henry is going to do. All right. Bottom line is you go ahead and you let. And again, it's like you said, if Lamar is not 100%, hell, if he's not 75%, I like Snoop, man. I like him, and I love the King. I love the King.
Yeah.
If we do what we did, we got nothing to worry about. Save Lamar for those postseason games.
I was going to say, this is not about, again, people can put words in their mouth all they want. They get hot and bothered right now in the live chat. They can do it all they want. I'm going to continue to say it, and I might say it more as those comments come in. And here's why. Why I'm saying this is who has looked the best executing this offense after Lamar Jackson's injuries between the 3 quarterbacks that have played?
There's no contest.
There's no debate about that. And that is not a Lamar debate. It's about his literal laundry list of setbacks, most of which are lower body, which affects every aspect of what you do as a quarterback, whether it be the way that you plant, whether it be the way that you move, whether you be evade contact, whatever it might be. It affects everything you do, whether you're dropping back or whether you're under center. And so while I'm with you, I am totally with you. They need Lamar in order to get to the big dance in February where they've yet to go. Right. Because the formula we saw last night work, that's not going to work over the course of a month-long postseason sustainable stretch.
No,
right? No. But what could work to give Lamar an extra 3-week cushion when it's all said and done with a home wild card opportunity?
Come on,
right?
let him
a
have
home wild
that.
card game against a team that's probably going to be what? 7 seed? Or let's see, it would be a 4 versus 5 matchup? Is that what it would be? What would it be? I don't have the bracket in front of me. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Point is, I think Snoop can go out and win this game.
And look at it. Look, think about it. The thing about Snoop yesterday that was really off the hook was when he decided to run, he ran. And we have seen over the last several games with Lamar, even when he decides to run, He doesn't have that explosiveness. He doesn't have that shiftiness. He doesn't have any of that. Now Snoop ain't shifty at all, okay? But he has got the health, not the skill, but he's got the health to put 100 into his drive when he runs. Lamar doesn't, man. He doesn't. We need him to have at least close to what that was in the beginning of the season to have any hope of making it through the postseason. Put Snoop in, man. That dog is ready to hunt. Let's go.
We're going to learn a lot over the next few days. We don't want to get ahead of our skis. Let's see how Lamar is trending. He was on the sideline last night in Green Bay. He was listed as doubtful prior to ultimately the game beginning and the final injury report status. And of course he was doubtful. We all watched 1 week ago tonight a player voluntarily, he did not have to do so, voluntarily meet with the media post-game. He could barely stand. He could barely talk without wincing. And that is what the conversation is about.
Right.
How much can Lamar ultimately physically progress between now and potentially 6 days from now? Likely it'll be a Saturday night or a Sunday night game. I imagine the NFL is going to want this in prime time coming up next weekend, which is why it's been listed as TBD-flex. We'll probably learn later tonight, if not tomorrow. We'll see what happens in terms of what day and what time slot they ultimately decide. It's great to see you. Happy New Year, brother.
You too, big guy. And hey, to all those fools still talking shit about Bobby, back up off my boy.
Get your body right over there. I appreciate you, brother. My man's following me into a burning building. I know that. Brother Goose is here. The waiting room is cooking. And what I'm asking is, again, I will reiterate yet again, if Lamar does not progress to the point where he's, let's call it 70, 80%, who do you want starting under center in this winner-take-all opportunity next weekend in Pittsburgh for a chance to go back-to-back-to-back AFC North titles and ultimately, most importantly, punch your ticket to the postseason? Techie Tech Knowledge says if Sanders can beat the Squealers, so can Snoop. I thought Shador played well in the first half. Showed glimpses and moments and stretches where, man, is he surgical in the pocket? An efficient decision maker, using Jerry Jeudy effectively across the middle, using his mobility at times, which he has not been touted for. I liked what I saw from Shador in that first half. And ultimately, it ended up being enough on a day where, on the other side of the ball, it was the real story. And even though Myles Garrett doesn't become the story, has to wait another week to set the all-time record for single-season sacks, oh, man, did Pittsburgh have to devote a ton of attention to 95. No question about that. And that opened up a ton of opportunities for his peers. Back to the guest lines we go. Bradley McCauley. I love new faces and new names, so he gets the call up. Maurice, Julian, the rest of the waiting room is on deck. Over 1,800 of you concurrently watching. It's a hot show. Why wouldn't it be? The Ravens' postseason hopes remain alive for at least the next week. It sets up a winner-take-all opportunity for Baltimore and Pittsburgh. That game will be played at Acrisure coming up next weekend. Ravens, Steelers for all the Marlbors. Bradley, welcome to the program. Happy New Year, brother. How you feeling?
What's happening, man? I really can't hear you at all. I don't know why, but it's all mute. I can't hear anything on the live stream. But I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. I think Tyler Huntley should definitely start. Main reason why is because we call a better offensive game with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. We stay true to Derrick Henry. We run the ball. Tyler Huntley is decisive when he wants to run the ball. And that's about it. On top of it, Lamar Jackson doesn't play great against the Steelers. And, so, yeah, running with Tyler Huntley, Lamar Jackson ain't 100%. I can't hear you at all, though, man, at all. So I'm out. Later.
Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the call, Bradley. Isaiah's hit us with a super chat, and he says the only people that can stop Henry is that offensive line. Pittsburgh could not stop Derrick, as we all watched in the wild card round last year, where the Ravens ran all over Pittsburgh at M&T Bank Stadium and then, of course, went on to lose in Buffalo in the divisional round. Earlier this month, December 7th, the Steelers, what did Derrick finish with in that game? We all remember what took place from an officiating standpoint. and the turnover battle in that game where the Ravens fell short to the Steelers 27-22. Derek had 25 carries that afternoon for 94 yards and 3.8 per carry. They have historically played Derek very well, with the exception of the wild card game. And honestly, they've historically played Lamar Jackson very well. I'm not sure any other team aside from Kansas City and maybe Cleveland have played Lamar tougher. A lot of that has to do with the familiarity, multiple matchups per year, given the in-division family type role that comes with that. So that's what's coming up this weekend. We will wait and see when this game is ultimately played. Coming up on 2,000 concurrents. Appreciate you guys for being with me. Like the video if you could on the way in. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership this afternoon. You can join the Bobby Baltimore Discord server. That is cooking right now with dialogue. It is free to join. There are over 1,000 members and counting by the day. And obviously over the next week, it's going to be really, really active in terms of conversation in there. I just dropped the free access link into the live chat. Would love for you guys to join. Maurice, welcome back to the program. Did you watch the entire game? Do you have any? Oh, it's perfect timing indeed. I've got this one for you from one of the Cleveland matchups with Kyle Hamilton earlier this year, where really the Ravens baptized Shedeur that day. He came in obviously in a pinch for an injured Dylan Gabriel. The Ravens made him look young and inexperienced, which he is. He ended up winning his second career game. The Browns won just their fourth game of the season. And all of a sudden, the Ravens' chances to win the division, I saw just a moment ago, have skyrocketed to 60%. Now, a lot of that has to do with what Pittsburgh won't have. No DK Metcalf. Darnell Washington has broken his arm, so he likely won't be playing. And we know that TJ Watt is dealing with the aftermath of that lung procedure and the surgery that was required a couple weeks ago. So this is setting up on paper. On paper, we all know that you have to throw out a lot of things and a lot of facts when it comes to Ravens Steelers, but this is setting up very nicely for the Ravens to try and punch their ticket to the postseason coming up next weekend in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, after this game, after watching, I didn't watch the entire game, by the way. I've watched about the second half because, I was out running errands. But this game right here just so happened to be living proof that literally anything can happen in the AFC North. And there's always, no matter who's playing within the division, it's always a competitive matchup between, all four AFC North teams. But yeah, I mean, Shedeur Sanders took care of business. What the matter is most is like, yeah, sure, he had a couple of interceptions. I mean, it'll happen every now and then with a rookie quarterback, but like when it matters most, he made the important throws when necessary. Like, for example, that moon ball he chucked to Harold Fannin on the right hash of the field, made a reception, rolled in untouched. I thought that moon ball from Shedeur Sanders was a thing of beauty. But yeah, the question about who should be
Fannin left the game, went on to leave the game with a groin, and then Njoku, the ultimate security blanket, wasn't even playing for him. So, and at one point they lost Wyatt Teller from an offensive lineman standpoint. So look, Shedeur, there were a lot of everything was stacked against Cleveland today, obviously, but no DK Metcalf is a big blow for Pittsburgh. And when you're going up against Myles Garrett and company, and you essentially sell out to ensure that he doesn't become the all-time sack getter in this game, it allows his teammates and his peers to cash in. And this was a defense that just bowed the hell up. Pittsburgh on third down really struggled this afternoon. Matter of fact, I have the number right in front of me. They were 3 for 15 on third down, did not turn the football over, won the time of possession battle, won the penalty comparison, and ultimately lose the game.
Right. Another thing worth mentioning is that the total yards between the two teams is almost neck and neck. I mean, Pittsburgh finished with 291 total yards compared to Cleveland's 262. So, like, if you look at every statistic throughout the ball game, it's been pretty much neck and neck. But the only thing is, given the inclement weather and, the field is a little sloppy because of the weather, it's been a low-scoring affair. I mean, very likely you're going to see quite a handful of low-scoring affairs in the AFC North division. But, Yeah, I mean, at least Cleveland was able to, close the game out, and that's somewhat to be expected because, the Cleveland Browns' biggest strength has always been the defense. And you look at the defensive line, for example, Myles Garrett just so happened to be the main reason why the defensive line just so happened to be their biggest strength. And I know some Ravens fans may not like what I'm about to say here, but a part of me was actually hoping that Myles Garrett would break Michael Strahan's single season sack record. It's awfully close. He's sitting at 22. Is it 22? 22, not 22 and a half. It was sitting at 22. But a part of me was hoping he would break that record. But yeah, so that game, the Browns took care of business with that game. So it all comes down to us going on the road to Pittsburgh, going in there, punch our ticket into the postseason. Now the question remains, who should be starting in the game against Pittsburgh? I mean, it's obviously no contest. I mean, Tyler Huntley should be starting in that game. I mean, you can't rely on Cooper Rush because we all know it's like Cooper Rush just doesn't mold well with our offense. And we saw a sample size of that at the midway point of the season, and it was ugly. It was a disaster. But
yeah, brother. Appreciate the call tonight, man. Enjoy it, Maurice. Thanks for the call. Guest lines are open. Derrick Henry last night on the Peacock post-game interview broadcast was asked, "You got a message for Cleveland? Go win, you feel me," is what he said. And that's exactly what Cleveland did today. And as a result, here is a look at the AFC North standings entering the regular season finale. Pittsburgh atop the division for the moment at 9-7. Baltimore 8-8, having improved to 500 football with last night's win, of course, over the Packers in Green Bay. And that sets up a winner-take-all opportunity for both teams in Pittsburgh coming up next weekend. We'll wait and see what day this is ultimately scheduled. It's been in that TBD flex window for a while because I think the NFL had a hunch. I'm sure they had a hunch that this is what not only they wanted, but this is what was going to happen coming up in this final frame of the season. 20 Baltimore, 52. I imagine these numbers are for Ed and Ray. Baltimore says this week will tell us a lot about Lamar. You think Ray Lewis, Ed Reed types would miss this game? Let's see what he's made of. But again, I hear you on that. I do hear you. But you're making me think of some of the comparison games that have been played on the national level with Lamar over the last few days. Justin Herbert having surgery on his non-throwing hand and then playing through it, which is extremely admirable, is very different than a back contusion. Very different. And that is not to take away or downplay or demean or discount what it is that Justin's done for the Chargers as he's played through multiple injuries, including that. It has everything to talk about. It has everything to do with mentioning the significance of a back contusion versus a left throwing hand. And so I can't sit here and say that Lamar has to be ready and ultimately will be judged by whether or not he's available 6 or 7 days from now, because I don't know if we truly know the severity of what it is that he's dealing with. I'm not willing to go down that road. Julian, welcome back to the program, brother. How you doing?
Hey, Bobby. I checked the game out in a little capacity. Still feel the same way. Nothing's changed for me. I still have questions about how this team is going to close things out. I mean, I'll say this though. As far as the question is whether Lamar should start or who should start. If he's full participant throughout the whole week, obviously he should start. There's no question about that. But if he's limited or he does not practice for a couple of days, then you don't put him out there. That's just a fact of the matter. Um, I did pick the Steelers to win. Um, I was one of those guys that picked them to win, but um, something did tell me that it was something funny was going to happen in this game today. Like maybe the Browns could pull it up, but I was just like on the fence, like everyone else was, and you were as well. But it's like,
Jewel,
yeah,
just in case folks got lost in the sauce of eggnog consumption over the last 7 days. This was Lamar a week ago tonight.
Yeah.
Knee in the back, that close over.
Yeah, my knee was good. My legs felt great tonight. I just got kneed in the back in the red zone.
Lamar's
Just
not
couldn't finish the
trying.
game. I was trying, got tore it all shot, stuff like that, but still ain't get no better. Yeah.
Lamar, has this just been kind of
Yeah,
terrible season in that
he's
sense, in the
hurt.
sense that it just feels like this stuff keeps happening to you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man, it's BS, bro. I can't control that, dude. Like, I'm on the ground, like I'm down.
Keep
I
him
get
on
myself
pressure.
up, I got kneed in the back. But yeah, for the most part, you can say that
Look in his
because
face.
getting injured and then we fighting for a chance to make the playoffs. I can't finish the game with my guys, so
Idiots, man.
this is BS.
Lamar, was there any point at halftime or on the sideline where you tried to throw a ball and it was just too painful?
Yeah, I was in here trying to throw it with one of our trainers, calf. I could, like, it just hurt.
Did it aggravate anything that's pre-existing for you? I mean,
No, it didn't do anything to me.
Do you think they'll be able to play at all this Saturday?
Yeah, that's the goal. Like, we're gonna do CAT scan or whatever tomorrow, and then see what it shows.
All right, so that was the goal. Ultimately, the goal was not
Yeah.
reached, but that's obviously what you want your franchise quarterback to say. To be
Yeah.
clear, that was 1 week from tonight after the New England loss, a game in which he was kneed in the back. Ultimately, it's diagnosed as a back contusion. It has different levels of severity and recovery timetables if you start to research them. Tyler Huntley came into the game. We all remember what happened in the fourth quarter with Derrick Henry from a coaching standpoint. We've talked about that ad nauseum at this point. That's
Right.
the last we've heard of Lamar. We've seen Lamar on the sideline. He was jubilant. He was involved. He was engaged last night, making sure that Tyler got his cheese grater hat once the Packers game was in the bag, which is why when I bring up that clip and when I bring up the debate, which is a good-spirited, good faith debate that's going to be had within Raven circles this week about who should be the starter for them at quarterback coming up next weekend. It's why shit like this, and I'm only going to have on the screen for a second because it's not a super chat. He doesn't deserve oxygen. But Haru Singor, whatever the hell that is, let's call him Hero Singor 5880. It's why this shit is below the belt toxicity. That's what Hero and Hiru, I'm going to go with Hiru. That's what Hiru does. What he does is bring a level of toxicity to the live chat. So Hiru, grab your backpack, get on the road, and get the hell out of this live chat. You sorry arse. That one's for the vault. Julian, finish your call before I get on the next waiting room.
I was just gonna say that I'm sick and tired of people like trying to really question Lamar's like heart and questioning everything. Like, is he not supposed to be hurt? Like, I don't get it. He's like almost like the only quarterback in the league that he can't get hurt or something like that, and they'll question his heart and his work ethic or anything for that matter. Would you have the same energy for any other one of these quarterbacks that's out right now? Would you tell Patrick Mahomes to go out there and suit up? He's hurt. And people thinking a back contusion is a joke is not a joke. I've had a back contusion before. That crap hurts. It's hard for you to turn and contort, especially the line of work that I do. And I work in a warehouse where I have to pick up boxes and all that. And you have to use your back for everything. Come on, man. Anyway, I want to see what they're going to do next week. They got to, like I said, I got to work on the pass rush. I'm still going to be calling that out as well because they had issues with that. Nick Wiggins is going to have a better game. I think he's probably going to bounce back, knowing that DK Metcalf is not going to be there. And then Darnell Washington, that big tight end, which I think, why is he a tight end? I think he should be offensive line. He's too big for that. Yeah, so those two are going to be out, but they're going to have to stop the run. They got to get at the Aaron Rodgers, or he will pick us apart like he did last time, which I don't think he will do. But then again, it's Aaron Rodgers. Who knows?
Thanks for the call, Jewel. Appreciate it, brother. Thanks for the call. Guest line access if you want to share a thought on today's Cleveland-Pittsburgh game, and ultimately the Browns emerging victorious to the tune of a 13-6 final score that keeps the Ravens' postseason hopes alive and ultimately sets up a winner-take-all opportunity in Pittsburgh next weekend. Go ahead and click on the link that I have pinned in my live chat right now. Mike Walker says we might be better off playing Huntley instead of Lamar versus the Steelers because Lamar's been holding on to the ball entirely too long this season. The poll is now up. Who should start as QB1 next week in Pittsburgh with the Ravens season on the line? The context required to vote in this poll is knowing that Lamar Jackson is hurt. He has a serious back contusion. We have not seen him. Well, I should say we have not heard from him since a week ago tonight. I just shared that clip during Julian's call right there after the New England game. He was someone who could barely stand up straight, who voluntarily made himself available to the media post-game. When he talked, he was wincing. He was in visible pain. And so the debate starts and ends there, knowing that Lamar is compromised, knowing that Tyler Huntley has executed this offense at a high level, or at least a level enough that's been high enough to win. Who should start under center for the Ravens coming up this weekend? We will learn more, obviously, as the week unfolds. That's the poll. Go ahead and vote and try and do it with good faith, will you? James, what's going on, brother? Chef, if you're ready to go. Actually, Chef, if I'm going chronological order, Chef was first. He likes to keep his camera off because I think he thinks he's special. Happy New Year, brother. Good to see you again. What's going on? Wait a second. What game did you go to recently? You didn't go to Green Bay, did you?
I went to the Patriots-Ravens game.
That's right. In your service, as someone who's worked at M&T Bank Stadium many a times in that press box that you were right below, it blows. And your service and connectivity blow, but I do appreciate you taking time out of your night to call in. So thank you.
It was rough. So again, going to the game, like it was a great game or great experience. It wasn't great that we lost, but it was a great experience. After that, I also got the flu, so that sucked. I was down for the count for like why like my Christmas plans and everything over.
You and me, bro.
But
We're on that flu train together.
yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. But something because I didn't get my thoughts out about the game. I wanted to call in, but like I couldn't do it. But something about the game where it's like I've been saying it before, there's just these underlying issues that haven't been addressed. And whether it's the underperformance or the coaching scheme or these coaching decisions to not have certain players in, it's these underlying issues that haven't been addressed that keep coming back and biting the Ravens right in the ass. Now, to get on topic to what you're talking about, the real starter in my eyes for this last game should be Tyler Huntley. Nothing against Lamar. He's been injured. He's still getting healthy. It seems like right when he gets healthy, he gets injured again because of the offensive line or he runs the ball or something, but he's not fully there, so he gets caught and he gets rolled up on or something like that. It's just stuff like that happens. My main argument, and something maybe I don't know if you can bring this up to Sarah. Maybe this could be your main argument, but my main argument for why Tyler Huntley should be the starter for this final game. The only clean complementary games that the Ravens have won, all three phases, Tyler Huntley was a starter. He was a starter, clean football, effective rushing attack, didn't hold the ball too long. Yeah, he took a couple sacks or whatever in some games, but effective, got the ball out, getting first downs, knew when to run, blah, blah, whatever. Not saying that Lamar can't. Lamar is obviously two-time MVP. I mean, he's our franchise star player for a reason. But right now, I mean, I'd rather take 100% Tyler Snoop Huntley than 75%, maybe even 80% Lamar right now because the Steelers are going to throw everything they have at you. And he gives us our best fighting chance at this moment.
I dream to live in a world inside this community, these community walls, where someone can share a take like that without it being world ending, without it being an indictment against another player, in this case, Lamar. That's how you feel. That's how I feel. And the reason why I feel that way is based off what we saw and know of Lamar as of a week ago that saw him barely being able to stand up. Then it transpired and leaked into the week. He was a DNP all week long, suggesting that he is nowhere close. Does that change with another week added on? Maybe. And if that's the case, awesome. And if he is over 80%, awesome. But we're operating under what we know now. That could be subject to change over the next couple weeks, or excuse me, over the next couple days. But operating under what we know right now in this moment, knowing what Tyler, to your point, has showcased in the Chicago game, notably, and last night, even more notably, why not? And why not use the formula? And by the way, let's be clear on something. Even though DK Metcalf will not be available next weekend, and it sure looks like Darnell Washington, their massive tight end, who's a key playmaker for them, just broke his arm, they're going to be able to put points up and move the ball on this defense. Yeah. They're probably not going to be able to run the ball. And for all we know, they're not even going to try to run the ball because, as Mike Vrabel said last week, teams don't try to run the ball on the Ravens on defense because why would you? They're so susceptible through the air and level 2. Why wouldn't you? But Aaron Rodgers, mark my words, I'll wait till the end of the week in terms of my prediction, depending on how things shake out availability-wise. But based on the state of this defense right now, he is going to and will be able to move the ball even without DK and Washington out there.
Yeah. And again, just to say this at the very end, because I know people are going to hear these takes and they're going to be like, oh, these guys aren't Ravens fans. I know for you, Bobby, you're journalist, really. So that's your lane. But for me, like, I'm a Ravens fan. Like, at the end of the day, every single week, I fully believe my team is going to win because they have all of the talent, the coaching staff, like everything. They have everything to do it, but they keep making the same mistakes and errors that they keep saying in press conferences that they learn from, and they're not going to do it again or whatever, but then they keep doing it. I mean, that's why, like, for me, seeing this and everything, I know some people are on the fence where they're like, I hope the Ravens just miss the playoffs so we can get some change. I still want them to make the playoffs because I feel like you make the playoffs, brand new season, everyone starts off 0-0, and it's trying to go 1-0 each week. But, with something like this, I mean, it's worth the shot. I mean, you fought from 1-5 all the way to the point now where you just want to win. So,
hey, and you know what, too? I bet you, I feel like I don't even need to bring this up to you because it's just that much of a given. But I assume that you're of the belief that giving Lamar another week and ultimately the best formula to get to where they haven't gone yet, which is the month of February, all revolves around Lamar and his health.
Yeah.
You're not riding Snoop Huntley, all due respect to Tyler, who's made himself some money this year. I know that. That's not sustainable. Riding Derrick Henry, who turns 32 next month, 32 next month for 30 plus carries, 35 plus carries the entire month of January. And in effect, that's not sustainable. And teams are going to sell out to do whatever it takes to prevent that and make Tyler beat you through the air. So we all know that's the given. That's the umbrella over all of this. You want to buy Lamar as much time as he possibly can get to allow him to give you a chance to take you to the dance, to take you where you haven't been yet.
And not to get into the whole rest versus rust thing, but I mean, at this point, you can't even afford for him to get injured in a Steelers-Ravens game because let's say he plays, he gets banged up a little bit more, but we win the game. Now we're in a deeper hole of our own making, all for what, wild card game where, I mean, are we still going to try and trot him out there when he could have rested and we had Tyler Huntley play? Or I know it's kind of nuanced, but I mean, that's just the hole that, you're going to have to sleep in. I mean, that's your foxhole, and that's where you're going to have to lay for the night. So
appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
Great catching up. Happy New Year, Chef. Hey, I don't know why this was taken out of context from earlier, but I felt like I needed to address it real quick because I saw at least one live chat comment on this, and then I just saw a tweet when Chef was talking. But But Robert says, and he tags Sarah, check with your partner Bobby in the live. He just said that those who don't super chat aren't worth oxygen. Let me be clear. Let me be very clear. That was the Hero comment, is what doesn't deserve oxygen. It's not that it wasn't a super chat. It was the dialogue, the English that he wrote in said chat about me being a Lamar hater that set me off, and I wanted to use him as an example. I always refer to and bring up non-super chat comments on the screen when I see fit. So let me just be clear on that. Everybody is heavily valued here in this community. So Robert, if you're watching, I hope that clarifies what it is that maybe I misspoke on earlier. A lot of that has to do with, quite honestly, how drugged up I am and how limited sleep right now I am on a vicious turnaround with the prime time. And I went live earlier today, and now we're live again. So sorry about that. Hopefully that clears it up for you, Robert. And I'm glad you guys can be with me tonight, late afternoon here on the 28th of December, final Sunday in 2025. And there will be one more, at least, meaningful game in the Ravens regular season coming up next weekend in Pittsburgh. We'll wait and see when that game is ultimately played, but it's for all the marbles coming up in Pittsburgh. Ravens Steelers, winner goes on to clinch a postseason berth and win the AFC North. And for Baltimore, it'd be back-to-back-to-back titles. That's never been done in the division's history. So that is that. Back to the guest lines we go. James, thanks for holding, brother. Welcome. Happy New Year. What's going on, dude?
Happy New Year, guys. First thing I'm going to say is just on how the schedules have gone over the last few years, the two take-all games are going to be Saturday. It's going to be the Carolina game first, Ravens second, because the winner of those games are going to be playing the first Saturday on Wild Card weekend. So, and we've all been sick. This sickness has gone through the East Coast for so long. I've been sick almost 2 weeks.
I'm hurting, dude. You could hear it. I'm straight up Squidward. Everybody knows this is how it goes for me a couple times a year. I'm on that Lamar immune system, I guess.
Yep, but I'm just excited because, I already bought all my stuff for Pittsburgh over a month ago, and I was getting angry. I was like, you know what? It's going to be a good weekend regardless, even if we're out of it. But the playoffs start in Pittsburgh. The playoffs don't start in 2 weeks. It's either you win and you go all the way to the Super Bowl, or you go home now. We just have to play an extra game. So.
Well said, dude. Appreciate it, man.
That's it. I'm going to get out of here, Bobby. Appreciate you.
Hey, and thank you for sharing with us your best impression of.
I want you to do the smelling salt again.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, James. I didn't even. You're doing your best Aaron Rodgers impression here in darkness, so I just wasn't sure.
Oh yeah.
But well, here's the thing.
I had to decompress a little bit from that Cleveland game.
Hey, let me be clear. I get that. Let me be clear though on this. And I just haven't made any decisions, obviously, because I don't know what's going to happen, and we haven't known for weeks. But should they host? And let's be honest. One of the many things that's on the line coming up next weekend is a home playoff game as the number 4 seed. That's a home wild card game. What will end up being the second weekend in January as the number 4 seed. And with that would come, obviously, a slew of festivities, as there always is, leading into that playoff game. So I would very much consider coming to Baltimore, talking to Brian and team. So we'll get there when we get there.
If we play on Sunday night next week or Sunday next week, then we're going to play Sunday. They're not going to send us on a 6-day turnaround for a home game. So
you wouldn't think so.
Just keep that in mind, guys. All right. Go Ravens.
Thanks,
all right, Bobby.
Appreciate you. Big darkness enthusiast. Big darkness enthusiast. Over 2,300 concurrents and counting. It's popping right now. And if you want to share a thought in terms of where you're at and where the Ravens are at entering this final frame, week 18, and newfound life, you can click on the link that I have included in my show notes, or I should say it's in the live chat. It's a pinned comment. Have you joined the Discord group yet? It is cooking. There's a lot of chatter. And oh man, Jaylen Armour-Davis just tore his Achilles. You got to be shitting me. I know he's no longer a Raven, and I know he has been perpetually injured throughout his NFL career, but that just hurts me as a human. Jaylen Armour-Davis has just tore his Achilles as a member of the Tennessee Titans. Oh, that's so brutal. Discord group, if you want to join, free access was just dropped into live chat. It's 24/7 conversation surrounding Ravens football, Baltimore sports, the NFL world at large. Appreciate you guys and your community efforts. As always, I know Judah's going to have something to say, just like he did yesterday. Pre-game, who you riding with this upcoming weekend in Pittsburgh, brother? Good to see you again.
Yeah, same to you, Bobby. Before I start, man, I just wanted to get something off my chest real quick because I think since I've been watching you, this is like the third time I've seen a fan come in and try to delegate how you run your channel. I think that's very disrespectful as somebody who I frequent on a lot of chats. You know, I have a boxing channel, I have a political channel, so I'm always on chats. I've never heard people have such a problem with the host as they do with you. I don't know what's going on, but I'm saying this while all the other viewers can hear me. That is extremely disrespectful. That's extremely disrespectful. And then for him to twist your words around to say that a super chat, if you're not super chatting, you're not worth oxygen. No, of course you're not worth oxygen if you're going to lie and disrespect the host and then expect to have your super chat, put on the screen for everybody to hear. Of course you're not worth the oxygen at that point. But again, I'm on live every day. I'm on the internet all day, every day. I have to admit, because I do have 3 different channels, right? So I've never seen that as much as I've seen that with you. So I do want to point that out, that I noticed that's very disrespectful. And I don't think you as a host, your professionalism, you don't deserve that. You know what I mean?
Appreciate
I just wanted to put that out there. But I am riding with Huntley. And the reason is because you said it yourself, man. I do believe that this is what I believe. First of all, we're playing the Steelers. That's always a close game, and it usually comes down to what team makes the least amount of mistakes. Now, I'm about to rage bait a lot of people, and this is about to be controversial, but I do think Snoop is more efficient. Even if he's not as explosive, I think we have less mistakes with Snoop under the helm. That's not me saying that Snoop is the better quarterback, but I do believe that playing Snoop solves a lot of problems for us. Because I do believe that Snoop can beat with Derrick Henry running the ball and Snoop being efficient, we can beat the Steelers. That gives Lamar an extra week to heal. Because I don't believe if we get into the postseason that we go into the postseason with Snoop. No, but I do believe it gives Lamar an extra week to get healthier to come into the postseason. Yes. I just think that all logic points to letting Snoop get this done. You know, I don't think about it. What if we put Lamar out there and he is still hobbled? You watch us in these 3rd and longs, or you watch him throwing bad plays, or he's not able to scramble. What if we get in the hole because of that before we even realize? What if we're already in the hole? We're already down 10-14 before we realize, you know what, Lamar may not be ready. Why not just play Snoop, a quarterback that we know is healthy?
Look, there's been a lot of conversation about this. There will continue to be as we get the latest up-to-date note on Lamar. That's obviously what's going to take place over the next, today's Sunday. God, I'm all like mixed up with the days, New Year's Eve, all Christmas. So this will be an interesting week because, first of all, we got to wait and see. And I kind of agree with James. I think the Ravens are going to end up playing Saturday night primetime. That's my guess. It'll be Saturday night primetime. We're going to continue to get fucked with primetime games. My immune system and body and sleep schedule, who cares about me? But I got to get myself right before next weekend because, dude, I'm hurting over here. But I think it's going to be the primetime window on Saturday night. Yeah. As you see here, according to DraftKings, this is not a surprise. The Ravens have opened as 3-point road favorites in Pittsburgh coming up this weekend. No DK Metcalf. Darnell Washington, according to Mike Tomlin, has a broken arm after today in Cleveland. TJ Watt has not played for weeks with the lung. And we got to see how the Ravens came out health-wise because Marlon Humphrey had his already pinned finger stepped on by Tavius Robinson. Now, the elephant in the room there is, are they better with with Marlon on the bench? And that's obviously a conversation for another time. And that has everything to do with Cheeto's availability because we know he's missed games in recent weeks with the foot in the aftermath of the Cincinnati issue with the netting on the sideline.
I would say this. Now, I do know that Marlon hasn't been playing great, right? But if we look at the last few games, especially the last game, I would say that Wiggins got abused more than Marlon Humphrey.
I agree.
Wiggins was getting destroyed. And, Marlon is leading the team in interceptions, and he got one again that basically sealed the game for us in our last game. Yeah, so
I'm not discounting that at all. I'm just talking about the coverage issues. The coverage issues has been a major problem. Some of the pursuit angles. How about Malik Willis fooling them with the same exact designed option run to the right-hand
Right.
side of the field. Like, what was that?
What? This terrible because you play against two quarterbacks who do this all practice. Your starter and your backup is a mobile quarterback. Why weren't you prepared for that?
Dude, 3 Ravens bit on that fake. And I'm not saying Malik didn't sell that well. He sold that fake really nicely, matter of fact.
Yeah.
But Marlon was the first. Who else was fooled? Alohi was fooled, and there was one other Raven. I caught it on the overhead copy of the broadcast. Who was the other? There was one other player. Doesn't really matter. It was an atrocious performance defensively. But to your point, in terms of atrociousness levels, let's call it, I'm going Nate, Marlon, Alohi. All 3.
Right.
It just wasn't good enough. And it started to show signs of the first 6 weeks Ravens defensive performance that we saw unfold that put them in a 1-5 hole.
Right. Well, man, I'm not going to hold up too much time. They probably have somebody else on the line, but, man, it was good chopping up with you.
Thanks, brother. Great seeing you, man. Happy New Year to everybody joining in tonight. Trenton Simpson was the 3rd player, wasn't it? I think it was. Thanks to the live chat who just chimed in there to help me out with that. I think so. Emo says, brother, what you smoking? I mean, I would love a Monte Cristo White series now that you mention it. And to be quite honest with you, since I was home the last week with the flu, I haven't had a stogie in well over a week. Might have to get my ass down to the cigar bar. What's the night game tonight? Anybody know? Who's got the night game? Oh, Chicago, San Francisco. That's got major implications in the NFC playoff picture. Oh, it might be a stogie night. Stogie night on deck. But Emos, who the hell are you talking to? Appreciate the super chat. Contrary to popular belief, I do enjoy interacting with, pulling up both super chats and non-super chats. Just to be clear on that. Okay. Eric says, Bobby, you're a nerd. It's been a long time since I was referred to as a nerd. But as somebody who did not fare well on SAT / what was the other score? Or what was the other pragmatic testing? ACT. SAT and ACTs, not my strong suit, which is why I went to Loyola, because you want to know why? They didn't require them from an admission standpoint. Back to the guest lines. Mr. Mexico is down here. Where the hell you been?
Traveling right now.
Yeah, you appear to be traveling at the moment in an
where
undisclosed location, like all 22 says from his in-laws.
Guess where I'm at?
Where you at?
I said guess.
Why do I feel like you go to Houston a lot? In Houston?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, and magically I arrived to Houston and they win on Green Bay.
Yeah, we know you. We know you got a little side honey on the road in Houston. But go ahead and share your thoughts on what transpired that now has the Ravens, according to Kalshi, at 60% in terms of their odds to win the AFC North, their chances to win the AFC North. I don't know how much. I just saw 2% going into this game prior to what Cleveland did to Pittsburgh. So I know a lot needed to happen. I hate to get on the odds and analytics train or overly rely on set analytics and numbers. But for those of you that do enjoy it, there you have it, 60% to take the division and ultimately punch their ticket to the postseason. Where are you at?
I think I'm at 60% because we depend on John Harbaugh's decision. Does Harbaugh forget that Henry exists? Because literally, Henry can actually win us this game again. So even if it doesn't matter if Lamar or Snoop plays, the matter of fact is they're gonna try to stop Henry. But there's so much you can do to stop a heavy running back, a 250-pound running back. You cannot stop it all 4 quarters. I know it because I played linebacker, so it takes.
You went up against Derek?
No, I went up against someone similar to Derek, but instead of being 6 feet tall, he was like 5'4". But god damn it, that train wreck that he was. He reached over here. But every time that he gained speed, it was just a heavy toll.
He was exceptional last night. 22 was. 36 carries, a career high, 216 rushing yards, season high for the King, who turns 32 next month. What did he not do? He moved into fourth all-time, sole possession of fourth place all-time in rushing touchdowns. He cracked the top 10 in career rushing yards. I mean, come on. He wore Green Bay out early and often. And obviously, yes, it made a week ago in New England or in Baltimore against New England that much more egregious, as Shannon Sharp went nuts on, shared that earlier this morning. But ultimately, the Ravens get away with it for now, and we'll see what happens in Pittsburgh coming up next weekend.
And don't forget, we had back-to-back games with Fish Fillet doing his job. Alas, at the end of the season, Fish Fillet does his job.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Where was that?
Daniel was moving body. Ultimately, he did not grade out well. Coach Evans, who's going to come on the film room this week on Tuesday, I'm looking forward to having him on. Daniel actually didn't grade out that well as a run blocker, 48.8. That was the lowest on the team. Roger Rosengarten led the way at 71, meaning 70.1. Linderbaum had 69.2. Who else? Voorhees was 50.7. So Fa'alele and Voorhees did not grade out very well, nor did Ronnie at 57.7. But Rosengarten and Linderbaum, I thought the whole group was doing its part. Now, look, both guards lost badly on that one sequence. It was Voorhees on first down, Fa'alele on second down. That ultimately led to, I think, the first punt in the game, which came in the first quarter. So that was a bad sequence for both guards, and Fa'alele lost really badly there on second down. But other than that, I thought all five were moving bodies. And obviously, look, the King comes with a level of like masking deficiencies, just like Lamar has when he's fully healthy over the years. We know that. But I did think they deserve their due. I'll be interested to see what Cole has to say on Tuesday night in the collective.
I mean, right now they deserve their due, like this game and last week's game. But I still question those downs where you put in Ali, where you put in Keen. I understand they're a change of pace, but you got to remember Huntley and Lamar. So everybody's going to focus on them too, because Tyler doesn't have the speed that Lamar used to have. Yeah. I mean, Lamar's injured still, but I think he doesn't trust his body enough to gain that speed that we all know about him.
Maybe not. We've seen signs of that since he returned in the Miami night. Now, we also, prior to the back contusion, saw that gradual progression of mobility increasing game after game. And then, of course, you get hit with a setback like he did outside the pad protection area when he gave himself up. Even he himself said that. Then gets kneed in the back, obviously, a week ago tonight. And you saw just how much pain he was in at that
cheap
line.
Shots. It's the typical cheap shots that we defensive players are trained to do.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Harbaugh wouldn't go as far as to call it a non-football play. Lamar, like nobody really followed up on that with him in terms of whether or not he thought that was sort of, out of bounds, if you will. But he clearly said, "I gave myself up and got kneed in the back," and obviously was in a ton.
Yeah, it's typical because us is like, oh, you're giving yourself up without a head. Us defensive players are going to find a way to actually get you hurt or just let you know that we're here.
Yeah, brother,
so,
great to see you, man. Appreciate
you.
Later, Manny. And because I take both super chats and non-super chats, Luis writes, Loyola Chicago. I referenced my alma mater earlier. No, Loyola Maryland. Luis, I went to Loyola Maryland in Baltimore. That's how my whole Baltimore tenure began in 2013. Showed up as a college freshman, a small liberal arts Jesuit school outside Baltimore, and had a fantastic 4-year experience there. But it was funny when Loyola Chicago went on their run to the Final Four. Who was the head coach there? Porter Moser? That was his name? Porter? What a fantastic run that was. But it was funny. I was always torn because Loyola became like a household name in sports when they went on that run and became like a mid-major powerhouse. And so anytime I would be out and about or chatting with people about my Loyola experience, they always deferred to Chicago. And I was like, no, it's Maryland. So anyway, 3 of the 4 of us and my siblings ended up going there. It was really, really good to our family. I actually just got an awesome email, as I still get on an annual basis, from Father Tom Roach, who's one of the Jesuits there that I became very close with. God, I still have a dream of him one day officiating my wedding. Like he has been that much of an impact on me, and he's got DC ties too. He's originally from the DC area. So anyway, that's just to answer your question. It's Loyola, Maryland, but I'm very familiar with Loyola, Chicago. And Mugen Showdown, who's been trolling his ass off all night, wants my attention. I'll give it to him for the moment. Mugen says, so Bobby, what did you mean by, quote, this team is cooked early in the season? Well, Mugen, if you've been paying attention the last several weeks, this has gone exactly how I predicted it would. I felt like they would make it interesting. And they've done exactly that. They've gotten a lot of help along the way. They've shot themselves in the foot time and time again over the course of the last couple months. But ultimately, they have made it very interesting. And we will see what happens in a winner-take-all opportunity where both teams could very well be without several key players. Will the Ravens be without Lamar? Where will Marlon Humphrey be in terms of his overall health percentage? No DK Metcalf for Pittsburgh. His appeal to the 2-game suspension was upheld. We'll see what happens with TJ Watt. Darnell Washington has a broken arm. Coach Tomlin just confirming that a short while ago in his post-game press conference. So there's a lot on the line coming up next weekend. We will see. And yes, Larry, you are right. There's a bunch of different Loyolas all throughout the country. So appreciate the reminder there. Loyola New Orleans and Loyola Marymount in California. I think there's 4 total. And it's just a tremendous experience for me and my family to get our college experience there. So appreciate that shout out there for my alma mater, and appreciate Preston Automotive Group for continuing to support the program. It's my longest standing sponsor. And the folks at Preston have a presence all throughout the Baltimore area and beyond. If you are a Bobby Baltimore subscriber, go to my show notes, click on the Preston link, and it'll take you to this specific landing page where you can go check out the available inventory at all Preston locations. Currently, 3,988 vehicles make up their available inventory. You can search by make, model, or keyword, and then you can get into more specifics like price, vehicle condition, year, make, location, dealership. You want to see some of the locations? Again, you do not need to be in Maryland to work with Preston. Shipping is available across the country. Go check it out. Aberdeen, Denton, Dover, Hurlock, Keller, Lewis, Millsboro, Pittsville, Randallstown off of Liberty Road. That's my home location. Preston Ford West when I'm in the area, and Wilmington, all throughout the DMV. I appreciate them for the continued support. All Bobby Baltimore subscribers are eligible to cash in a $500 credit that can go towards a new or pre-owned vehicle. And on top of that, they're going to give you an opportunity to receive 50% off your alignment when you buy 4 tires at Preston. You can find them on Instagram at Preston Automotive Group. They work closely with Mark Andrews as a brand ambassador, and I appreciate their support for continuing to power what is the Bobby Baltimore channel. Appreciate you guys, as always, for dropping by. We will wait and see when the Ravens and Steelers will face off coming up next weekend. Oh boy, Week 18 for all the marbles in Pittsburgh. A Week 18 regular season finale with the AFC North on the line, and most importantly, a ticket to the 25-26 dance. The postseason. That's what's up for grabs. That's what's on the line. Sarah and I will be back tomorrow on the Vault at noon, as always. Guys, join the Bobby Baltimore Discord server. It is cooking, and it is in heavy conversing mode right now. Dialogue is running rampant, and there are over 1,000 members and counting in here right now. When you join, it is free to do so, by the way. 1,077 members, including Quiet King Riot, Wriggle Joint right here, Chuck, Kelby, Jong, Pitts, Shadow X, Dipper. Shout out all these new members. It's free. It's not always going to be, but for now it is. And here is the link right now that I'm dropping into the live chat if you want to join the community that's growing every single day. Appreciate you guys. I'll catch up with you tomorrow, if not before. As always, on the vault. We got a lot to discuss this week. It's going to be rocking. And for the Ravens, it's rolling to next weekend. It's a meaningful game in Pittsburgh. Like the video on your way out. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member or gift-giving membership today. Thank you for your interaction. Thank you for your super chats. Thank you for your live chat participation. And thank you for continuing to support this channel. I'll talk to you soon.